The myth of the 30 shekels of silver pieces, of which Jesus Christ, the biblical figure, who died for mankind, leaving trails of inspiration and hope of ever being saved from seemingly awaiting snares of the Lord of Darkness, is and will forever be rooted in the minds of every affirming believer of the Christian and Jewish religion, as written along with translations in the book and told in sacred religious gatherings. The 30 silver coins, of which the Master was traded for by one of his own, one of the 12 of his closest disciples, Judas Iscariot, thereby condemning Christ to his fate, although it is known beforehand that it has been divinely planned and told decades before the time of the events as recorded in the books. Archeological search and exploits geared to scavenging and uncovering the mysteries of the existence and the barest trace of the coins have since proved a tedious task, but surprisingly brought up speculations and motivations of the closest type of coins that might have been in use at the time, some inkling on value worth of each of the coins. It begs the question of what has become of the coins, what they have come to mean from centuries and millennials passing, from what humans have known and discovered based on countless research, theories and studies of the ancient scrolls in the Bible, from generations we've seen and come across localities, cities, towns, places and even sacred objects and people whose names and meanings since have changed to a permanent, more significant omens of either good or bad after a life-changing encounter. So why not the coins? Akeldama, the Aramaic name for the location in Jerusalem associated with Judas Iscariot, one of the original 12 apostles of Jesus, is also known as the Field of Blood, and is located at Hart Island in the Bronx, of which is New York City's current Potter's Field, and one of the largest cemeteries in the United States, having at least 800,000 burials. As it is known, Judas committed suicide by hanging, though not the first man to do so. But this act does show that his spirit was broken beyond saving and had no sense or reason of living. On his quarrels with his master, which lead to his aliases with the chief scribes and a conspiracy staging, the air is barely purified of that explanation. Seems something must have been brewing before underneath, or he might be realizing he was not cut out of the discipleship after all. Maybe he might have been deeply upset about the authoritative sayings of his master, maybe the favors he granted others he never granted him as a disciple, of for whatever reasons he kept to himself, or the honors he received from people, some of who had barely nothing and expensive too. We have no way of knowing the details. All that it is known is that he was betrayed. Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Perhaps the material meant more to him than just the value of the money. Perhaps just like the coin was used to magnify Judas' darkest impulses and compel him to act under the darkest unchecked zone of his nature, so does it apply to us? On another consideration of what could be a kind of defense, Judas Iscariot could be seen as one whose rights were impeded upon by the forces of the highest manipulation to cause the ultimate pain and rejection to his master after countless unsuccessful attempts before Jesus Christ was old enough to be baptized. Books like that of the Gospel of St. Luke hints on a tone of possession of Judas Iscariot by the devil called Satan, the master of mischievousness and malevolence. What better sweet pain and bitter emotion could the devil have planned for the Jewish abbot or king of Israel other than the betrayal of family or a partner you can spill, if you have any? However it goes, it seemed fitting because he was the weakest link, chain and spirit of all Jesus Christ's disciple at the time. It also rings a bell to us that we have a bounty on our heads, and this bounty may come in different forms as viewed and pictured by different people. Alliances can be twisted and made at the same time. It's interesting to inquire the whereabouts of the coin. The irony here is that the bond he shared with his master proved to exceed whatever attachment he had and overpowered his illogical reasoning. It was a terrible thing to bear that he killed himself, more like the prominent Othello of the Shakespearean plays. It is also an awakened call of the bounty which the dreaded dark angel has placed on our heads on the day we were formed, and enemies. For some it could money, for some sour venies of kind as they would suppose, for some skills. We can only hope for divine guidance each day. Today, the significance of the silver shekel has come to be a common associator with theft, betrayal of the master and family, a symbol of fear and panic, division amongst bonds Of these, silver shekel may be viewed as a bounty object,